Whoops, I'm busy typing. Hi, and welcome to Sci-Fi-Vision for May 22nd for Look for the Light, where we're going to talk about this week's episode of The Last of Us, which is episode 6. I was just tweeting there that we're starting. Well, I know Karen's not here tonight. It's just going to be the two of us, but why don't we start? Why don't you tell me what you thought of it? Why I'm tweeting here.
Um, so I liked everything that we saw. I just didn't like that it was an entire episode of flashback. Like, I think it would have been better done if like the flashbacks came at moments throughout the regular show. Like, I don't know, I just didn't like the whole entirety of a flashback episode.
That's fair. I mean, I liked that it was a whole episode, but I guess I feel both ways about it. Like I would have liked maybe the season a little more if they had put them throughout. But yet I feel like if they'd had the episode and then I'd not gotten a whole episode, I would have been sad that it was other stuff. So I guess it kind of depends, but I didn't mind it. And I think that out of all of them, it was probably the best of the episodes this season, but that's partially because like as I've said before, I really like the relationship between Ellie and Joel. That's my favorite part. So but
Yeah, I just like holy crap. Oh. I was looking at the chat and I was like, holy crap, a lot of people. And then I realized
that's when
it's just you saying hi.
right, it goes through for quite a few
The
times.
flashback of us.
Yeah, the flashback. So we start out, obviously we get Joel and Tommy as kids, where Tommy has gotten in trouble for buying drugs, but Joel's trying to take the blame for it. And he tells him that he won't let him get hit or whatever from his father. And this is when he has a conversation with his father about it. What did you, why does it say I have a pop-up thing for recording? Upload local recordings. I don't know why it's doing that. It's getting an error. As long as you put live, we're good. So I don't know that this scene was necessary, but I kind of liked how they bookended it by, I think at the end he says something to Ellie, like, I hope you do better than me. Showing that.
Well, that's kind of the whole thing, and that's how I took it, because it's about the cycle of violence, Yeah. And I think that's why they put that in there, because I mean that's where we are on the show right now. I mean, Ellie hasn't learned that lesson yet, and she's lost her shit and she's going after Abby.
Yeah. So. And it's showing in this case that it doesn't have to be that way and that you can be better, which I don't know that she is ever going to get to that point, but it would be nice. But yeah, I like how they added it in. Other than that point, it was kind of unnecessary, but I think that that point was good. I just was saying like that was kind of the whole, maybe, I don't know, maybe it's just a little longer than it had to be. And Fletcher's saying that he can't save the show every time. I still like the rest of the season, though. I know, Fletcher, you didn't, but I'm just saying I do think this is the best episode because of that. And I don't think they should have killed him, and that's a whole nother, discussion. But I still like Bella Ramsey. I still think she's doing a good job. I know that's kind of a big contention online, but yeah, I mean, I miss Pedro, but I still like Bella. Hey, Jen. Welcome, everybody. So then we get to the scene with Seth, and thus starts Ellie's. I'm thinking of Bella and Ellie at the same time, and I said Ella. Ellie's birthday that that Joel, keeps getting her birthday cakes each year because he gave him Legos for it. I like that conversation. He's like, I looked through that house. He's like, yeah, but I'm a smuggler. I'm better at it. The one takeaway, though, not takeaway exactly, but thing here is I would have liked to have seen a little different is whenever Seth goes to him, what flavor do you want? Say vanilla, it's easier. I really think Joel should have said chocolate just because it's Joel, and I envisioned him like being an asshole about it. for no reason other than to be an asshole. Even if he's like, I'm kidding. I don't know. That would have
Yeah.
been that was like my immediate response of what I thought he would say. So it was a missed opportunity in my opinion.
Yeah.
Not that it
I
was
can totally
important,
see that.
but it was a little bit of a missed opportunity. So he goes back and fixes Ellie's guitar, what will become Ellie's guitar. I have to wonder though, and I know it doesn't matter. It's just kind of funny because he's taken and going through all this to fix this guitar and make it work. But it's like, days later, she finds how many working guitars, which, because we kind of joked about that before, that it was a little bit too prevalent. Um, the guitars were easy to find, and she found it not once but twice. So I thought that was a little funny. But I like that they showed this and showed him making the moth, even if he didn't know what it meant when he took it from her drawings. And I don't know. I think the scenes with them, her having the birthday were sweet. But first we get this. I forgot about this. When Tommy brings her in because she burnt her arm, and we know that she did it on purpose. I do like that they showed us what she did, or at least gave us more insight onto what we did. I mean, we didn't need to know necessarily exactly what she did. They could have just, said it in passing. But I had said before that I think for people who don't delve into it deep enough, or who don't play the game, that some people may not have quite understood about the bite, and that she burned it and then got the tattoo, and the whole idea was to cover it. I kind of was hoping, and I know it makes sense with the story, but I kind of was hoping that like Joel or Tommy, although I don't know if they would have known how, but was kind of hoping maybe they gave her the tattoo to cover it. But I was wrong.
No, that was much better. Watching Joel lose his shit.
Well, yes, watching Joel lose his shit was good too. But I just would have liked that. I did like this scene though; it was sweet, and he calls her baby girl again and stuff, and is helping her. And you can tell it. It hurts him to see her in pain because he cares about her. She's like his daughter, or is his daughter, whatever you want to say. And yeah, so I didn't mind this scene, but he seemed a little surprised. Like I would think he would have gotten it right away, because he's like, "You did it yourself? Like, why?" And I thought it was kind of obvious, and she had to
Yeah,
spell it
well,
out for him. Jen said that she liked the episode, but I wish it was given to us earlier in the season. I agree. I think that it might have been better because people were so upset over him dying, or him being murdered rather. And I agree it would have played better earlier, but I'm glad we at least got it. It is kind of surprising to do it when they did it, because I feel like they stopped the momentum a little bit. Do you feel like that, AJ?
see, and that's why a little bit, and that's why I wish that the flashbacks had been integrated into the episodes as opposed to having an entire flashback episode. Um, I feel like instead of getting pieces of information as we went, we got everything in one shot, which I don't know. I just feel like it just it's funny because this is like your favorite episode because you like the dynamic between Joel and Ellie, and for me, it was kind of not boring, but I wouldn't. For me, it definitely wasn't one of the best episodes. It was stuff that I wanted to know and needed to know, but that's all it was. It was like an answer episode when we could have
Yeah,
been getting those answers throughout the season as opposed to in one spot.
yeah, I kind of get that. And I think I hear myself echoing. Um, I think that a lot of people, got really upset, as they should have, when they killed Joel. And I think that maybe I know some people left or gave up on the show because of it. And maybe it would have helped if they had put them in earlier or peppered them through it. So yeah,
Well,
I
I
see
mean,
that. I see that.
well, I mean that's the thing though. That's the story. I mean, it's funny because you say that, but people, most gamers are pissed off because they are veering so far from the game. Well, not so far, but they are veering from the game this season and doing things a little different, which is pissing gamers off. And you're either it's. I feel like it's very much so like how the game was. The game was very people either loved the game, the second game, or they hated the game.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's kind of what's happening with this second season. People are kind of either loving or hating it
Yeah.
because you can't keep changing things to you gotta respect the story. You can change things here and there, but if you don't respect the core of the story, then what's the point? You know,
Yeah. I
when you
mean,
take something and change it so much that it's a completely different entity, it's not even an adaptation anymore.
yeah, I don't know that they changed it that much, but again, I don't know the original story as much as somebody like Fletcher does, who obviously thinks they changed it too much. Um, I mean, as a story, I like it. I don't know how I would feel if I'd played further in the game. Whoops, wrong one. She said that she agrees. We got the info dump, but she would have liked to have seen it sprinkled throughout, like you said. Um, and then she said it pissed me off that the showrunner said he was stealing source material because he holds it dear to his heart. That he's not. See, I don't know. Like I said, to me, it didn't seem. I didn't know that it necessarily veered that far off. But I think you have to like really play the game, I guess, to know. I'm kind of like knowing pieces here and there and going by what I hear. Um, I try to, and we've said this before, I try to look at it as two separate things and like you can enjoy both. But I definitely understand people getting upset if it's not the story that they know. Um, I personally, and I've said this before, I think that they could have made a series based on like the beginning of the game and had a story about, Joel and Ellie and like stretched it out, or even like spent a season with them in this town and stretched it out. And then they could have added a bunch of stuff, but without so much changing the original. Because I feel like maybe adding stuff in between isn't the exact same thing as changing it, if that makes sense. I'm guessing from a gaming point of view, like maybe it would have pissed people off a little less, but I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah, but see, the problem there is then we're complaining that now you got 5 seasons.
Well, I would have been okay with that, but that's
See,
I
I'm not even okay with 4 seasons simply because I don't wanna have to wait till 2030 to finish this.
yeah,
Because
that I don't either. I agree with
if they're
that.
now there's rumors that they're already filming season 3. So, if that's the case and we actually get it next year, then okay. I'm okay
Yeah,
with 4 seasons. But as it sits right now, it's taking 2 years every
yeah.
season,
And that's why I
and
said
that's
I
not
think that
okay.
if they were doing 3 seasons, 7 episodes apiece, they could have done like 11 and 10 or whatever and done it in 2 instead of 3, instead of stretching it. But maybe it would have made it take a lot longer to get season 2. I don't know. It's kind of like it would depend how long it took. I agree. But I don't mind the more seasons. Um, Okay, Jen says, I agree. They could have had power to write a background story giving us the town of Jackson. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like maybe if they added rather than changed, because it seems to me, and I don't know because I'm not the one that's upset about it being changed, but it seems that people more get upset when something's altered. Whereas they could have given us a lot before they ever got to these points that like there's a lot of the points that they changed that have caused a lot of contention. And I think there was a lot of opportunity for those stories. So we get her having her birthday. She's a little old, just put her fingers in and smash the cake, but it was kind of funny. So I
That
appreciate it.
yeah, I love that part. I'm good with
Yeah.
that.
I'm not sure how he spelled it Eli, though, and
That was
messed
funny
up.
because he didn't know it. He clearly didn't know how to spell Ellie.
I guess, but he seems like he's an adult and he should be smart enough to figure out it's not Eli. But then again, it sounded like maybe he was giving it to somebody else to make, and it was just like a trade that he found the person for Joel. So he gives Ellie the guitar, shows her the moth that he put on, and he sings. Sorry, I skipped through a little fast. The song, which is I have it written down somewhere, "Future Days" by Pearl Jam. See, I don't know the song, but if I were to lose you, I'd surely lose myself. And yeah, this is the song that Ellie started to sing some when Dina was there and kind of choked up, and now we know why. So I appreciated that they put that in there. Just so you knew exactly what happened. Um, or at least that would have been a good idea. And it says at least an episode when Ellie was knocked out for 3 months and showing us the rebuild after the huge attack. That actually would have worked really well because that would be a part of the story that they can't show in the game because you're not awake during the game.
Right.
So it would have been something they could have expanded a lot upon. Yeah, I agree with that. I think that would have been good. So then we have her next birthday a year later. where Joel takes her to the museum. I think these were my favorite scenes with the museum. I mean, I didn't see it in the game. I know I'm gonna watch. I want to when I get time watch the cut scene link that Fletcher gave me with all the clips. But I can kind of imagine it in the game, and this is really. I mean, this is great. I love it, and I think that it was great between the two of them. But even just watching Ellie, he even says to her at one point something like, you know, be a kid while you can. She really didn't get a childhood, which is I think why part of why she looks at herself as death too. But these birthdays were almost like a chance for her to live as a child and to imagine and to play and to like she didn't get a lot of that. I mean, she grew up in Federal school, and so yeah, I really liked these scenes because they were really lighthearted before you get to the sad stuff. And then she runs up on it. I do know that from what I or at least from what I've heard, I do think that her running on the dinosaurs in the game. That's where she sees the museum. So that was a pretty cool scene. I don't know. What did you like these scenes, AJ? Are you listening?
Yeah, no, I like those. I like those. No, I was like, I like those scenes a lot. They were a lot of fun. I enjoyed all the birthday scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like the space capsule scene.
Yeah, the space
That was a
capsule
lot of
was
fun.
cool. This part made me laugh just because of an anecdote I'm going to tell that probably nobody here cares about. But when they got in this room and it had the glitter walls, it reminds me of this. You know how like you have rides where you go in the dark, like around a track, like a little, I don't know what you want to call it, but a little ride where you go in the dark. They're
Yeah.
like not real roller coaster necessarily, but they're like little in the dark rides. At Conneaut here, they have a ride. I think it's a mine supposed to be. I can't even remember. It's been decades since I've been on it. But they had this room when you first go in, and it looks like that, except it's not sparkles, it's gum. The wall is covered in people leaving their gum, and it's colored spots all over the wall. And that is all I could keep thinking about as I seen this scene was that room, because I know like as a little kid, even when you see that, you're like a little kid. At a certain point, it's like, ew, that's so disgusting. But like as a little kid, it's like, that looks kind of cool. So I don't know. That reminded me of that. But I like that they had the this thing here. I know it said on the behind the scenes thing that I guess they recreated that. That was like it was in the game. So that was cool that they recreated the sets. Again, these sets are great. I mean, I say that every week. I love the sets and looking at them. And having that light up planetarium thing was pretty cool. And then we have the space capsule, of course. The only I love this, and I love that he gave it to her, and I also love he had her even knows she's going to break the window. He's like, "Here's a rock, break the window." Um, the part though I do question, just like how Karen always complains about there being gasoline in the apocalypse on The Walking Dead, I have to question that they still have working batteries this many decades after the end of the world, that she can listen to a cassette. But I can kind of put that aside for the scene because it is a really good scene. And I think from what I've heard, I think these are recreated pretty faithfully, these scenes. So yeah, it was nice seeing her imagine like a kid. I mean, this is definitely like something a kid would do, pretending pretending you're actually going in space. So I really liked the way they did that, and it was nice to see Joel smile. We didn't get any of that really much this season. And then of course we have the fireflies. Did you get what that was right away when they kind of stopped on the fireflies?
Yes, they were
Okay,
fireflies.
I was gonna say. Well, because I didn't know if everybody noticed it or wasn't really paying attention. Because at first it's like, why are they stopping there? I guess it was just kind of like a hint that, bad's to come, as if we didn't know bad was to come. So he catches her with, what's her name? I forget what her name is.
I think it was Cat, wasn't it?
Cat. Yeah, that sounds right. Cat, who is giving her a tattoo, and he gets a little upset. Now, I don't know. I feel like this scene played a little different than these scenes, I should say, the next couple scenes played a little differently than they meant it to. Because obviously in this scene, he's chastising her because she's supposed to be, to him, still a kid. I mean, she's 17. She's 19 here. So she's really not.
No, she's 17 there.
17 here.
Because he even says to Cat, he's like, she's 17, and Cat's like,
right.
I'm only 9. He's like,
You're right.
I'm 19, and he's like, get out.
So 17, kind of on the verge of adulthood. You could argue it either way.
Yeah.
I'm sure she feels like he's adult. He feels like she isn't, but he's her father. And I get he gets upset. He caught her in a room, smoking pot, getting a tattoo, making out with somebody. I know here he's a little surprised to find out that she is making out with a girl. And I did like earlier in the episode, whenever he thinks she likes Jesse, and he's like, "I
Yeah.
noticed these things." She's like, "Nah, no, you don't."
She's
Which
like,
I
I
thought was,
don't think you're as smart as
I
you
don't
think you
think you
are.
do. Whenever they had him question her and say she was experimenting, and she's like, "No, I'm not experimenting, this is who I am." I really wish they would have added a line in there that he got it or he was okay with it. Like, I get he's looking at the tattoo. Oh, she actually did a good job. I think it's his trying to
Yeah.
be okay with it and tell her he's okay. But the reason why I say that is I thought at first, whenever it switches to her, like, wanting to move out, I thought at first that maybe he was not okay with it and that there was kind of a disconnect, that he didn't accept her being a lesbian. And I don't think that's the case, but to me, it was the way it played a little bit. And I just would have liked even like one line just saying that he was okay with it at some point. It's not super important, but I know that a lot of people, that have had to tell their parents. I mean, obviously, I haven't gone through that, but people have. And sometimes it's a really bad experience. And at the first, I really thought that Joel was not accepting of it, and I think it was just the way I took it when I first watched it. So yeah, I don't know.
It is a little jarring the way they did it, and I think that's because Joel's kind of blindsided. Like, every her birthday is their time every year, and he gets home early to surprise her and give her cake, and somebody else is horning in on his Ellie time. It's just typical parent teenager growing up, type
It
shit.
just, yeah,
It
it
just
just
I
made
think, and it just caught him off guard. Like, it
right.
was a
No, I get
trifecta. It was trifecta. It was pot, tattoo, lesbian.
that.
Like,
Wonder a little bit though, because you have the scene later where he yells at Seth for commenting on it. And that's why at first I was like, well, maybe he wasn't okay with it, and that was his way of saying I'm okay with it. But I don't think that he wasn't okay with it. I think it's really just the way the scene played out to me for whatever
yeah, it's
reason.
just, yeah, exactly. It's just,
I love that they're talking, that Samuel's about the tattoo needles, if they don't make new tattoo needles. He's not wrong. I'm hoping that they maybe at least like use alcohol to clean them. I'm sure you're right, they aren't making new tattoo needles, but then again, do they use clean tattoo needles in prisons? I don't know. Probably not. So, but yes, it is a dangerous thing you shouldn't do in real life. But I like the idea that she got the tattoo. I just, like I said, I think it would have been really cool if Joel or Tommy had been able to do it. But then again, A, they may not know how to draw, and B, that would completely be different, I'm sure, than in the story, and it would have been different in the game. But the idea of it would have been kind of cool. But whoops. So kicked cat out, and then lost my mouse here. And okay, that's where she tells him. Now, see, they showed him kind of knowing something was going on, and that's whenever she's trying to move out, and he's like, "It's raining. You can't go out. There's no electricity, no heat." And I think he was kind of trying to compromise, where he's like, "Give me a chance. I'll fix the garage. You can go out there. Maybe you need some space." And that's why I was saying I wasn't quite sure because of the way they ordered it after the other scene. But it's nice that he fixed it up for her. I can see that she's an adult. She wants to be alone, and she's totally, what she says is totally valid. It's not exactly his house. I mean, he should in a way, run it. He's sort of her father, but at the same time, he's not. So I see her point of view and her wanting to have her own place, and at least he's willing to do it. So he's going to fix it. I did find it funny, though. That's where he looks at the tattoo and he says that she did a pretty good job so far. I did wonder, though, she has like all the posters all over her wall. And I wonder if a lot of them are just like from before, and they take them because they're from before. She did have records, but I don't know, like, I don't think they'd have like Nirvana. Like, Nirvana's pretty, it's not in that picture that I'm talking about, but she has a Nirvana poster.
yeah, she's got Kurt Cobain poster on her door.
Yeah, and it looks like that says Creep. I don't know if that's for the song. Yeah, Radiohead Creep.
Yeah,
I
she had a
don't think
Radiohead poster.
those songs would have been on record, so I'm not sure that
That's
she
not,
actually
no, that's not true, Jamie. They still put a lot of stuff on vinyl.
They do sometimes, but it isn't
No, they still put stuff on, like, the brand new albums that come out like yesterday are on vinyl too. Like they,
True.
because
But I
people
guess
are.
I'm saying it's not everywhere. There would have had, but I guess there could have been somebody who saved records, who was like a big record aficionado that was at that place. Um, it just seems less likely that some of the newer stuff they would have to have at that time on record, that maybe she might not have known who they were. But I don't know. It just made me wonder. I was thinking about the music. Then we have why can I not remember her name? The doctor. I'm just going to call the doctor because I'm blanking out.
um
Gail. Gail.
Gail.
I remember Gail, who is reading Earth Abides, which
Yeah, I got a
unfortunately
kick
did
out of
not make
that.
a that great of an adaptation. I thought that was funny. I wonder if she was reading that in the game, um, or if they picked it for another reason. I don't know. I thought it was funny. But this is where she tells him that a moth means death. So yeah, I don't know. They show Ellie's drawings. There's where she has the records, and it says you have a greater purpose. I mean, do you think that Ellie's really like fixated on death, or do you think it's just because of what she is? I guess would be a better way to put it. That she
I
does that, like
mean,
what it's meaning for her.
it's not
She says,
surprising that she identifies that way and looks at life that way. I mean, the world's pretty shitty, you know?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't think that he necessarily should have been worried that she connected with a moth. But I did like the conversation he had with Gail. Um, Moths resemble the fact that Ellie was supposed to die for the humanity to survive. Yeah. Um, but I don't know. Like I said, I don't know that it necessarily was unhealthy, but I think it's also probably foreshadowing the fact that Ellie is going to outright know. I mean, I believe she knew from the very beginning he lied. That's my own opinion. But obviously, I think it's foreshadowing that she is going to say something to him about it.
Well, she even says that
Funny.
later
Yeah.
at the end of the episode that she always knew.
Yeah, I definitely think she always knew and she couldn't accept it. So her, it's sometimes you know something, but you just can't see it, even though it's there because it's not something you're willing to accept. Fletcher says Eugene plot was a disappointment. I was waiting for Eugene to find out about what Joel did to the Fireflies, and that's why he took him out. Wasted opportunity. I agree, but here's my question: is that in the game, or are you saying that like from a story point of view? Because I didn't know that was in the game, but I definitely that was what I think I even said that to you guys when we were watching it in the chat. That I really figured he was going to she was going to get bit, and he was going to tell her secret, and so Joel had to kill him. So I definitely agree that it was a wasted opportunity, not in the game.
See, that played out pretty much exactly how I was expecting.
So I was waiting for it. So let me ask you, Fletcher, for somebody who seems to not like when they change things, you would have liked that change then? So just trying to understand, like, why would that change, I guess, be okay without, okay, so it's just you normally don't like the changes they've made. You don't necessarily not like changes, just specifically the ones they made, I guess.
Now,
that makes sense. Samuel says in the game he died of natural causes.
Here's my question for Fletch, actually, because I remember, beginning of the season, we were first watching and everything, you were saying, you still have the game to go back to for the story and the changes here. So are you saying it's not the changes get me, I don't like the writing? Okay.
Yeah,
Never
so
mind. You answered my question. You answered my question as I was asking it.
He's opposed to changes. He's opposed to the changes they made, which I understand. I totally understand that. I'm sure. I mean, it's like when I watched Uncharted. That movie, if you're an Uncharted fan, was absolutely awful. I can also appreciate it as an action fan, but yeah, like I can get you change it too much, and it's like, no, don't.
I heard Uncharted was bad even as an original concept.
You mean for the game, or you mean as a movie?
Even if it wasn't based on the game, people were like it wasn't good in general, and that's kind of what Fletch is saying here is the writing of this season is what's killing it for him, not the changes.
Yeah, because I think the writing of the game is really good. I've watched all the cutscenes for Uncharted.
See, and I enjoy this type of conversation though, because it just goes to show the difference of opinions based on a gamer versus somebody that hasn't played the game. Like I know highlights of the game, but I haven't played either game, and I'm still enjoying the season.
Right. But I get it. I remember seeing that movie and yelling at the screen and being so mad, like, why did they do that? And I think the thing that pissed me off more than anything is that they didn't give the guy a mustache. And that sounds so stupid, but I guess it's kind of the same thing as people complaining, oh, Abby doesn't look like Abby. It's kind of the same thing. Like, why didn't you give him a mustache? He needed a mustache. That's what he's known for. Never played the third or the movie, though they added that actor played Nathan Drake. They lost me already. Yeah, he was. I don't think they should have done a prequel and used him as a younger Nathan Drake. I like when Nathan Fillion made his fan film. That'll be the best. They should have just went with that. I like that. If you haven't seen it, go watch his fan film. That I think if you're an Uncharted fan, you'll like. It worked well. All right. So Ellie is talking to herself like she's ready to ask him about what happened when he takes her out. So we know that it's coming. And then of course they're told that Eugene and I forget who else is with them, that they've hit some trouble and they're gonna go find them and try to help them. And they find Eugene, who is played by Joe Pantoliano. I didn't know how to say Pantoliano, who's from The
Penny
Matrix.
Leone.
I
Yeah.
was kind of
Joey
surprised
Pants.
he's only in for so little. I really liked him. I wanted to see more of him. But it was I mean, it was an important character,
Fun
but I would
cameo.
like a little bit more. Um, you know, I feel different ways about this. What do you think about what Joel did? How do you? I mean, him lying to Ellie was bad. Don't get me wrong, but do you think that he should have killed him, or do you think he should have let him live until he got there?
Um, it's a difficult thing, and the thing is, it it wasn't about Gale, it was about himself, you know.
I
So it was kind of like he didn't, like Joel said, you can, you if you love somebody, then you can always see their face, and I think when he says, I see her face now," it was more about Eugene than it was Gale.
Yeah, and
Um,
I think that Eugene almost when he said he saw her knew he was going to do it obviously, and it
but
was
yeah,
kind of like an okay, you can do it now. But I guess I'm saying like I don't know how I feel about Joel killing him in general. Like okay, I can understand that it could be dangerous, but the person he's worried about is immune. But he's still got
it's not
Tommy
just
in the town to think about too.
it's yeah, exactly. He still has the town to think about.
I have the problem with him lying to Ellie. I think that like I understand that maybe he wouldn't want to take the risk, but it was important to
It's actually
Ellie.
kind of funny. It's almost like they did that just so that Ellie could later say it was the same face. You had the same face when you lied to me about Eugene as you did when you lied to me about the Fireflies. That's
Yeah.
almost like why they did that.
No, I'm sure it is. And Eugene said, Fletch says Eugene literally said he would wait outside the gates, Joel.
Yeah,
My issue is, Fletcher, that like you don't necessarily know that. Like people will say anything when they're dying.
sure.
And I kind of can see both points of view. And I think, would it be better or not? Because I also if could see if he took him back, I could see Gail begging him, don't kill him, don't kill him. You can't kill him. Let me hug him. Let me tell him goodbye. It'll be okay. It could go that route. And by Joel killing him, I almost feel in a way, because I said I feel both ways. I feel that it was less cruel to Gail, but in a way I do feel it was mean to Gail too that he did it. So I can understand why Joel did it. What gets me mad is Joel lied to Ellie. And yes, I agree with you. That's why he lied to Ellie, simply so she could say, you made the same face. I knew you lied.
Yeah,
He
it's
wouldn't
literally a
have said to
plot
her,
point.
it's not safe.
They made it a plot point rather than anything meaningful.
Right, exactly.
Um, I mean, it's. I almost wish that they had made it so as they were walking, Eugene was like noticeably changing or kind of like forgetting things. Like if Joel had said, "Go to your right," and he started to walk to his left, you know, something like that, then you could say, okay, he realized he was already changing and it wasn't gonna, you know,
Yeah. Yeah, at least he did.
he was already cognitively losing himself. then I could see it. But there really wasn't any reason that they couldn't have tried to make it back.
Yeah, but like I said, we don't know how that would have went. I can see Joel's point of view that he was making the town safe. But if that was the case, then I feel like he should have said to Ellie, "Look, I understand why you want to see him go back and you're immune, you don't have to worry about getting bit, but I have to think about the rest of the town. I have to think about what it would do to Gail. I have to think like I would have not minded that conversation if he made the choice or if like you said he started to turn and he said, "Hey, I'm sorry, I couldn't wait." But yeah, the thing that makes me mad is that he outright lied to Abby. He is making the right
You mean Ellie?
pledge. Ellie. I was reading Fletcher's comment saying Abby. He is making choices for other people. And he said, are they trying to make us feel pissed about Joel to have empathy for Abby?
I
I don't
hope
know
not.
because I wasn't that mad at Joel. Like I said, I don't think he handled it in the right way, but I wasn't necessarily that pissed at him. I was more mad about what Ellie did following this.
I was too, because that was even more selfish.
Well, we know Ellie's selfish. We know that. And
Well, yeah.
and I also noticed, I'm assuming you noticed too, that I hope not get ready. Fletcher says get ready for the journey. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see how much we get mad. But I did like how they pulled the body the same way they pulled Joel's body. I'm assuming that was made reminiscent of that on purpose. So they come back and yeah, he tells her that he was bit, he found him dead, and then she's like, no, he didn't. I was very mad at Ellie for being selfish. I get that she's hurt. I get that she wants to hurt Joel, but it wasn't right to hurt Gail in that way. But I think it's
That's
showing
exactly
that
the thing.
Ellie has no empathy for anybody else. Um, yeah, this made me, Fletcher, you were saying about being mad at Joel. I was mad at Ellie more than I was mad at Joel at the end of this.
Yeah, it's actually funny. Yeah, yeah. As questionable as with Joel lying to Ellie about promising and everything like that, and whether or not he should have did what he did. Ellie just like makes you completely forget what Joel just did because of her selfish nature,
She
she
was cruel.
hurt Gail way worse than Joel lying to Ellie.
Now, that's saying the second lie. Joel lying to Ellie about murdering people is a whole nother issue. Talking about Joel lying about Eugene. I'm assuming that's
Yeah,
what
no,
you're
that's
talking
what
about.
I'm saying.
Yeah, okay. No, I just was making sure
Yeah.
that's clear. Yeah. Um, so yeah, I don't think that you should have. I think it was cruel. But the thing that I kind of wonder, and I guess when you're upset, if your husband died, probably you wouldn't really think it through. But I would almost wonder though, I mean, granted, she's 19, but Ellie saying it was safe for him to come back could have also been an altruistic point of view too, an optimistic point of view. Like it could have been that Joel really didn't think it was safe and Ellie did, and they fought about it, or Ellie hid it. Like I don't know that I would necessarily jump to the conclusion that exactly what Ellie said was exactly what happened.
Well,
Like
Ellie's
Joel
going
could have
based
been like,
off
"I'm
of
sorry, she's not lying, but I didn't feel safe, but I didn't want to hurt you." Like he could have fixed it in a way, but I get
well,
he didn't. And
Ellie's also going off the fact in the first place because of what they used to do with her when they were checking to see if she was going to turn.
yeah, but I guess there's a difference between somebody not shaking when it's going to be a little bit of time before they turn and not shaking because they're not going to turn
Right,
at all.
exactly. That's
But I'm just saying that Joel could have fixed it. He could have said, "Okay, she's right, but I didn't want to hurt you," type of thing. But I think that would have hurt his relationship with Ellie more if he had done that. So, let's see. Okay, we're not to the end yet. Okay, I feel like Ellie is getting a tons of critics. Let's not forget she never had parents growing up. That's why she's acting like this. But yeah, yeah, she's a brat, and I get it.
well,
I
yeah.
understand it.
I
I'm
understand the
just saying
why. Doesn't change the fact.
it doesn't change the fact what she did was very cruel, and Ellie does not have empathy the way she should. She never has. I don't believe. I think that she cares about Joel, and I think Joel is the only person she cares about. And yeah, she doesn't care if she hurts somebody else. That's not okay. Whether she, is it nurture, is it nature, that kind of thing. But yeah, I don't know. He says Dina's actress is starting to get on my nerves. Well, she wasn't in this episode, so you didn't have to see her this episode. I don't mind Dina, but again, I don't know exactly what she was like during the games. That's hard for me to judge. But this is where we wrap back around. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to ask Come on. I was going to ask Samuel what he means by that.
I think one of those was supposed to maybe be me. Maybe he meant you the way we. I don't know. Maybe he meant you from both. I thought he was saying because we both complain about the opposite show. Yeah, I look. I still like the show. I'm not going to say I don't like the show. I do. I don't always love their choices, but overall, I've been mostly satisfied with this show as a viewer, not having played the game. I like that they wrapped back up around to the beginning of the season. Now we know why Ellie was so pissed at him. Now we know that Ellie did know for sure. So I'm glad they cleared that up. I do feel AJ's in the was in the Walking Dead games. Okay. He was talking about the games. Yes, I know Fletcher. I'm going to watch it. I haven't had 8 hours to sit down and watch it yet, but I intend to watch the cutscenes. I think the fact that they had them in the snow here, I thought this is a perfect opportunity to have a snowball fight. Just have that little reference because I did get to that part in the game. I was sad they didn't. I thought that would have worked perfect, but they did not. So we get back to the whole scene with Jesse and Dina. I guess Dina was in this episode. I'm sorry, I forgot she was at the very end. I did like that Joel talking to Maria. I don't think this was in the original part. Excuse me, right? Her telling him that he's family. That wasn't in the original.
No, because we're getting
I didn't
Joel's
think so.
perspective. It was
Yeah.
Ellie's perspective originally, and now we're getting Joel's.
Yeah. So it's nice to see that. And I mean, look, it was sad, and Ellie didn't per se get to forgive him, but they had a conversation. They started the ball rolling, and that to me was enough that at least I can be okay with. She didn't tell him goodbye per se, but it's at least
Well, and that's the thing, though. I mean, I kind of like that I like what she's, that line that she says, I don't think I can ever forgive you for this, but I like to try, and now she's going to have all this unresolved stuff because he's dead, and I like that because you get so many shows and stuff out there where you get these, tidy little happy endings with a little bow on it and everything, and everybody gets closure. Like, that's not real life. This is closer.
No, but I like that at least she got some closure. Like, they could have just ended it with her pissed at him. That would have been worse. Because I remember earlier in the season, we had a conversation between you, me, and Karen where Karen said that she didn't think Ellie really knew, that she thinks Ellie just lied, that she didn't really. Well, she said she didn't think that Ellie knew what Joel did. That was that was last week. Or I think it was last week, whatever week it was when they were in with the infected and she killed Laura. But also earlier in the season, I think she had said she didn't think that Ellie knew and that she was mad at him for something. I can't remember exactly what she said, but I like that that we got closure knowing that she did know, she had figured it out, and that was why she was mad. And yeah, I've heard the same thing, Fletcher, that season 3 is supposed to be Abby's point of view. I hope the whole thing isn't. I think if they do that, that's a big mistake, but we'll have to see, I guess.
Well, I mean, considering what I've heard about the game, it's very likely that it is.
Well, the game still, as far as I know, is a lot of Ellie. I mean, the stuff with Abby, I think, was more at the beginning that they've already passed. I don't know, Fletcher, tell me that. I thought the part with playing Abby was at the beginning, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you go back and forth. I don't know.
Well, season 4 is all but confirmed.
Yeah, I mean, I can't see HBO paying that much money for this show and not giving the last season when there's only one left. I mean, they have renewed shows and canceled them after they've renewed them, but
that's only Amazon Prime that does that.
No, they did it with Westworld, but I can't see it happening in this case.
They did it with Westworld too? I thought no, they canceled Westworld outright.
Westworld was renewed and then they canceled it. Like they had said okay and then changed their
really?
minds. Yeah.
Which season?
Sure. The last season that we didn't get.
No, they canceled that pretty quick actually.
I don't know. I'd have to go back and
what you call it? The oh crap, I can't think of the name of the show. The show on Prime that we really liked, they did it with.
The Wilds?
The Peripheral.
Peripheral. Yeah, they did all that they said they renewed it and then didn't. Yeah, that did happen with Peripheral. I thought it happened with Westworld, but it's been so long, I'm not 100%.
But that's a good thing. Raised by Wolves was awful.
Um, you play the Abby in the beginning, the middle, and the ending. That's interesting. I didn't know that. You didn't like. I was gonna say you didn't like Raised by Wolves. I
Uh,
liked Raised by
I
Wolves. I don't
hated
think
it.
I liked it as much as Fletcher did, but I liked it. But then again, I had
I was
covered it,
so
so.
disappointed in it.
But it was different. I think I liked it because it was so different. It wasn't. I don't know. It was different. I didn't. I kind of liked it. I didn't love it, but I liked it. All right, so we have the conversation. She asks about the coffee. Not that that's super important, but they're kind of chatting. And this is where she's like, I forget exactly what it. Oh, she says that she asks him if he could have saved her if he killed all those people. Now, I do have a problem with one part of this, and I've seen other people kind of question it too. I don't like that when she asked Joel if they could have saved people that he says yes. Joel does not know that.
Yeah.
And nobody knows that. But apparently I was reading something earlier today. I didn't read the whole article, so I don't want to take it out of context. But I'm assuming that was what they had asked about. And the writers were saying that they originally had written it that yes, they could have made a cure, that was what it was supposed to mean. But whether they could have really cured people or not from Ellie, in my opinion, is irrelevant because Joel didn't know that when he made the decision. So that irritated me a little bit there.
As far as I'm concerned, they still don't know that.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the fact that he asked them, "Have you tested it?" and they're like, "Well, no,"
No, of course not.
tells me, well, then you don't know anything, and
Yeah.
we're never gonna know, you know. And I mean, unless they find somebody, unless they kill Abby at the end, Ellie at the end of the game and try again.
Yeah, I don't think
And
that's
I
gonna
don't
happen.
know.
I love Travis Fimmel too. But I didn't love Vikings, but I do like Travis Fimmel. Um, the way that Pedro Pascal performed that scene, Oscar pleased the way he didn't answer with words, but his eyes of whether yeah. This whole scene was very well acted, and I believe um it was pretty much scene for scene, I think, from what they said in the behind the scenes. Maybe they were going to try to test it first. If we keep getting Joels to kill immune people, we will never know. We won't. You're right. If there are more and more immune people, I've kind of said before, like they could actually make an immune race by having pregnant women get bit. You never know. I don't think that's going to happen, but
Or
they
maybe,
harvest from
sorry,
baby.
Ellie, but you're now an incubator. We get Ellie pregnant and see if her child's immune.
That's actually not a bad idea. That's awful to say. No, I now that you said that though, that actually would have made more sense to me. Like I would have been more down with them getting Ellie pregnant and seeing if the baby had the immunity rather than doing that. But they still, I don't know though that would have helped them because they still couldn't get it to the rest of the population.
Well, here's the thing. Yeah, but that's the thing. Have Ellie have a kid. If the kid's immune, well, guess what? Now we know. Okay, so now what we do is now we take one of Ellie's kids, kill the kid, and get the
Yeah, I'm
cordyceps.
not saying kill the kid. That's what I said. After I said that, I thought that really doesn't help them.
You
I'm
kill
kind
it.
of
No,
meaning like they
it
know
does
how
help
to.
them. You kill the kid for the cure.
No, but I'm
The
saying they could
kid doesn't have a
breed.
life yet.
No, I'm saying they could breed a race of people that are immune if they really want. Like I could see in a show, like sacrificing themselves for their kids, so that way their kids grow up and they become a new human race. But no, that wouldn't
No, I
work
like
either.
that idea, Jamie. But yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I
that's
don't
just
I
like
don't
in the
mean
dark.
killing the kid. I meant like that they could have people get pregnant to have a
Listen,
race that's
for
immune.
anybody that hasn't been listening to us for 20 years, I love it when they kill kids in shows because they never because seriously, you should hear me and Karen especially.
No, I know
When
what you
there's
mean. You say that.
when
That
there's
sounds
a kid on a
awful. I know.
show, we're like, just kill the kid because the kid's only there like as a plot device.
Yeah. It's in TV, it's okay to do that. But yeah, but Samuel was saying they could have taken the mutated cordyceps and they would have a cure. But that's also, I mean, that's also sort of a guess though. I mean, I don't know that's I don't
Oh my
believe
God,
that was a yes for sure. And I know
Fletch, have you
getting
heard me? Ethan needs to go. That kid kills me.
you guys are funny. So anyway, Ellie is mad and says that I was supposed to die. That was my purpose. My life would have fucking mattered, but you took that from me. Um, and that's where he says that's where it was, I think, really kind of heartbreaking. Where he said, "I'll pay the price because you're turning away from." Like he meant that he would do it again, even if he lost her because he couldn't give her up, let her die. And she says he's selfish, and he says, "I love you in a way you can't understand." I I mean, I would think that Ellie could see, like, if it was reversed, that I think she would have done the same thing. But I don't think that Ellie has thought about it in that way. But this scene is very heartbreaking, and I'm glad that at least they had part of the conversation, even if they didn't finish the conversation. And she's like, I don't know if I can forgive you, but I want to try. In my opinion, if she wants to try to forgive him, then she has somewhat forgiven him already, and at least that's something. I don't know.
Well,
I
here's
prefer
the
that.
thing. We think, a lot of this stuff depends on who's your people. I mean, if we are, if this story is told from Abby's perspective, oh yeah,
And
go fucking kill that asshole Joel.
yeah, no, I totally
So
agree. Yeah, I've said before, I don't think that one person, it's worth letting one person live to kill, if like it could have saved the whole human race. But if they're your person, then I understand it. Like, I don't know that I agree with it, but I probably would have made the same decision. I can't say that I wouldn't,
yeah.
because I probably would. But I can also see the other side of it. And I think that in a way it would have been nice to let her choose, but she was a kid. She couldn't make an
Well,
informed
that was
decision.
the problem too. Like, she's
Yeah.
yelling at Joel for taking that away from her, but they didn't tell you that to begin with. Like, nobody gave you the choice.
Yeah. Maybe if she had been given the choice. Um, yeah.
See what
I
Joel should have did. Joel should have been like, Joel should have been like, wake her up and ask her if she
yeah.
wants to do this.
But they wouldn't have done that. They would have just killed him, and it would have defeated the. I mean, they weren't going to listen to him.
No, I
Really, if
understand.
he
I'm just
wanted to save
saying.
her, he had to kill them. Did he have to kill the doctor? Maybe not. I actually kind of think that the
Hey,
story
doctor
would
had
have
a
been really
scalpel in his hand
interesting.
walking towards him.
No, I know, but I actually kind of think, in a way, that maybe it would have been a more interesting story if he had killed a lot of them and killed Abby's father, but not that he was the doctor, and that maybe the doctor survived, because then you still have
Well, I
that
think that's what makes it
possibility.
interesting, is
Kind of, but I
because
could also see the side of the possibility that there could still be a cure being interesting too. Like, now there's no chance
he
that
can't
we
be
know
the
of.
only doctor that's left in the world that knew how to make this cure. Come on.
Well, no, but they're implying that. And I don't think
So,
she's the only immune person either. I'm sure that there's a possibility there's other people that are immune too, that were, bitten while they were pregnant. It's not like a one in a gazillion chance it happens. AJ, you can actually get away from the doctor and use it to kill them. That's great,
oh wait,
Fletcher.
hey, yeah, let's show this first.
Which one? You can
In the
actually
game, you
take.
can actually take it away from him to kill him. That's awesome.
That is awesome.
But now
Um,
I want to go back to Fletcher's honest question. Do you think the season is delivering on what you were expecting? Yes, because I didn't know what to expect.
yeah,
I mean, the
yeah,
only thing I knew that was happening this season was Joel's death. I knew
same.
nothing else. I know nothing else. Oh, however, I did come up with something that I had actually said to Artie the other day. I was like, so let me get something straight here. It's like, you play as Abby in the beginning of the game, right? I was like, can you die playing as Abby? And he's like, well, yeah, technically, and you got to do the level over. I'm like, okay, but say you die as Abby and you don't do the level over.
Well, then
Joel
you're done.
lives.
Yeah.
You just stop
Playing
playing.
the
Joel
waiting game.
lives.
But that's how you fix it, right? That's a fix it. But yeah, I would say tentatively yes, Fletcher, because I didn't know what to expect either. The only part that I would say to me was a letdown, and you've all heard me say this before, is that I really think they should have let Joel be alive longer and stretch that part out. That's the part that disappointed me. But it didn't disappoint me enough that I didn't enjoy the season, because I still think overall it was well written season. I understand if you expected different things, that you might not feel that way if you're a fan of the game. But having not played the game far enough to know what happened, I have enjoyed it, other than it was painful to watch. That would be my main. The game will stay at 15% forever. Yeah. It would be cool though if you got a choice in the game. I know you wouldn't, but it would be kind of interesting. Yeah, those are my two main complaints is that they killed Joel too soon, and like I've also said a bunch of times, I do think that it would have been better if we got to know Abby first as a good like not knowing what she was going to do, and then have her do it like they do in the
Then you
game.
would have really pissed off the gamers.
I I know. Well, no, because you play her in the game before you know what she does, what she's going
Yeah,
to
but in
do.
the game, but in the game, you don't know why she does it until like halfway through the game, right, Fletch? About halfway,
Okay,
quarter of the
so
way.
maybe that part, yeah, I think that might have worked that way too. But I'm just saying, like, I think that if you got to know Abby first, you maybe would have some empathy for her. The way they did it, I think that everybody's going to hate Abby no matter what. I don't see there being any chance that you could not hate Abby. I mean, I'm sure there's some people maybe that don't, but I absolutely hate Abby and cannot give any empathy or get behind her in any way or ever think that what she did made sense. Like I can understand why she did it, but I can't, yeah, I can't accept she did it, I guess. If Uncharted killed Nathan Drake on the second game, yeah, you're not gonna do that. But who knows? Maybe if they have a fourth one or a fifth one, I mean, they would. But yeah, I think that I would have liked to have seen them have you get to know Abby first and let Joel live longer, and then at least you would maybe like Abby
Yeah, but
before she.
now you're writing a different show.
Well, no, I know, but like I said, you did get to know her in the game first. Now,
Not really.
whether you didn't know why she did it, regardless, you still played as her before you found out what she was going to do. Is my point. Like
Yeah,
I
but you
think
didn't
that
get to, but you didn't really get to know anything about her. You just played as her.
no, but I feel like playing as her, you feel like you're that person you're playing as. So you kind of get to know them in that way that you can't in a TV show, but they could have had you get to know her in a TV show. I don't know. That's just what I think might have worked better. But I'm in it for the long haul, see how they do it. I'm curious what they're going to do with the finale.
Hmm.
I do kind of agree with what you said though earlier that I think that them putting this whole flashback episode, it kind of stopped. I think it stopped the momentum a bit before the finale. I honestly think they could have focused on those 20 years, the time jump that we got in the game, and make the TV show run that. I agree they could have. And you know what? I wouldn't be super surprised if they end up with a spinoff doing that because if they make a lot of money from this. I could see them doing that. And I think people might have maybe been better with that. I don't know. Um, yeah, expand the universe, not rewrite the story. You just don't want it to end up like Walking Dead. That's kind of the main comment. But yeah, I think that, like I said, adding story isn't necessarily changing story, and we could have even had a story about the 5 year, like they could have built up to them getting to this town, and then spent the rest of the show, the intervening 5 years of them living in the town, even. But would there have been enough story? They would have had to, obviously make things up to happen along the way, but it could have worked. I think either could have worked. But I wouldn't mind seeing a spinoff that's as the apocalypse became what it was. I wouldn't mind seeing that down the road. He doesn't like the line, "I'm going to be a dad." I thought it was cute and funny. It was silly, but it was funny, I thought.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, I'm talking. I should have put it up when I said that. I thought it was funny. I mean, it was silly, but it was funny. Yeah. So, anything else? What do you think? I mean, what do you think is going to happen in the finale? I don't think it's going to go very far. I mean, I think it's going to definitely end on a cliffhanger. Um, will she be in confrontation with Abby?
I'm guessing that she's going to come face to face with Abby in the finale, and that's
Probably. And then the next season will probably be flashbacks of Abby's, which I really
yeah.
don't know that I want to see, but we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I definitely think it's going to be on a cliffhanger. But I'm excited to see it. I'm just sad that it was this short. I don't like that the season was so short. It was short
Well, and
last season.
that's been my complaint the whole time is why do we need 4 seasons when you could do it in 3 if you add more show episodes?
Yeah, they could have just split it. But if I don't know, I mean, at the same time, if having 3 seasons instead of 4 meant we had to wait an extra year, then I don't know if I would have wanted that or not. Thank you, Scarlett. Yes, please smash the like and the subscribe button if you're watching. I don't. Fletcher says I think if they're going to in the finale, I don't think we'll get an Abby confrontation, but we're gonna get a double kill though. Hmm. See, I don't know who that is. Yes, you're right. Most British shows
British
are
season.
short. You have to get used to that they are. It's how all of them are now. Um, if there's a true that season 3 is yes, because we would need a season 4. My only question is if it's all Abby, will people quit watching it and then they won't get a season 4 because it does bad? We hope not.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm curious about that too. I mean, I'll be okay with it because I'm just interested in the overall story, but it will be interesting to see if the general masses uh,
I would not like
jump
that.
ship.
I guess it's the same thing as how you said you wish they had peppered the flashbacks through. I I don't think a whole season of Abby would be very good. I think they need to go back and forth. That's my opinion, but I guess we'll find out what they do. I mean, we don't know just because they said it's going to be Abby flashback. I don't think they've actually written it. Oh, you said you think they started filming it, huh? Maybe they did write it then. I don't know. I don't know. Everything I've seen has all been rumors, so I have no clue. No
Yeah,
idea.
I don't know. We'll have to wait till 2026 or
Yeah,
27 even maybe.
it's going to be a while. Hopefully, there'll be more good shows in between, and at least I think we might get From before it comes back. So there's that. That's
Rom is
something.
supposed to be out early next year,
Yeah, so we should definitely at
which
least
is a
get that.
really quick turnover,
They're already
which I'm
losing
very
a kind
happy
of
about.
audience with the second season. I think they have, but I also think that there's still a lot of people that watch this that aren't gamers. I don't know about like the ratio of how many they've lost. I don't know, but I know that some of them aren't gamers. Have we heard the news about Stranger Things wanting to split the final season into 3 parts?
They've
No,
actually I didn't hear about 3 parts, but they've split it in two.
yeah, they've at least split it in two. I was going to say, I remember reading, I think, I
At
vaguely
least oh
remember.
no, wait, no, wait. Maybe I'm thinking of maybe it was Sandman. They did that to us the last season with Stranger Things where they gave us like 8 episodes and then the last
Yeah,
two
they
were like 2 weeks
keep
later.
doing
But
that.
there's something else.
The site's going really, really slow. I was going to look up on the press site.
Yeah,
I
I don't
was
even.
said
Yeah, I've
something
kind of
about.
lost my hype for Stranger Things. Also,
Yeah,
kind of
sometimes
like
they take too long, and then
kind of
it
like
makes
it's in the
you
same
not want
boat
to
as
see it.
Winds of Winter.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought that they had somewhere in the press about. I think it is at least two. I don't remember seeing three, but it could be. Yeah, I think sometimes they stretch
I
it
feel
out
like
so
they're doing
much.
that with Sandman too. Then, like
Do you think
I
that?
definitely read something recently where they're splitting something up, and I think it's Sandman actually. Now that I think about it,
Well, they're not maybe splitting it up, but there's not going to be more. I think with what had
no, I mean
happened.
splitting it up as in like they're gonna like the release like the first like what if say it's 8, they're gonna release like the first 4, and then a month later release the other 4.
I would prefer them
Which
to
I
release it weekly than to do that
yeah, that's the thing with Netflix. Either release it weekly
or
or
release it
just
all.
all at once.
Yeah.
This half and half shit is actually more annoying.
I think that some of these they're putting so much time in between the seasons that you forget about it and you don't care by the time it comes back. And
Oh,
and
absolutely.
you have to like rewatch
Absolutely.
the whole show to catch up half the time or go with, not remembering a lot of it. So that's really annoying when they do that. I will not watch it. Welcome, Jerry. I
Yeah.
am not that like I don't like those kind of horror movies. I won't watch it probably. I've seen
Oh,
the first one.
you haven't even seen the movies.
No, I mean I've seen the original. I think I've seen the original It, and I've seen the newer It. Like I've seen it, but I probably won't bother to watch the subsequent ones because I didn't
Yeah,
really like.
I have no interest in the prequel.
Well, you like the books though. So your reasoning is because you like the actual book and don't want to see a bad adaptation. I
It's
just
not an adaptation. It's completely
or
new.
okay, this is a new one. Okay,
It's a prequel to the
okay, the
books.
one. Okay,
Like
well,
it's just completely made up
right.
and new and
That makes sense. I just am not. I am not usually a straight horror person. I outright say that. And From is a little different because in Yellowjackets because they've got that mystery aspect. If they didn't, probably wouldn't watch them. I'm just not a straight up horror person. I never have been. So yeah, not something I'm probably going to watch. But I hope you enjoy it. I hope it's good. Um, yeah, it's too scary for me generally. I get scared too easy. I'm a wuss. So I readily admit that. All right. Well, unless you have anything else to add that we skipped,
No,
or
it's funny. Not really. Not. I mean, not a lot happened in the episode.
no, and it was a
A
lot of
good
fun.
portion of it was just, hey, this is cute. This is sweet.
From Until Dawn does sound good, actually, Fletcher. He's talking about Until Dawn. That's based on a video game. I seen the preview of that, and I don't know. It looked like it would scare the shit out of me, but it did look good. And I have thought of playing the game, but I think it's too scary of a game for me to play, but maybe watching it first. I'm the kind of person, like, if I watch it first, then that's kind of how I felt about Last of Us when I wasn't sure what to do about the second game. It's like, well, if I can watch it and it doesn't freak me out too much, then maybe I can play it. But playing it's a little more scary. But it does sound good. But that also isn't straight up horror. That's got kind of a sci-fi bent to it. It's got time travel and, as you say, Wendigos. So it's not straight up horror. Speaking of that, as I was about to say before I lost track of what I was saying, make sure you guys come back at 11 o'clock because we are having our next Yellowjackets special where we are going to be, assuming I can get the damn software to work, we're going to be ranking the different plot points and ships and different things in Yellowjackets, as well as wrapping up season 3, predictions for season 4, the show that we were supposed to do before and never did. We're doing that now, and we're also going to have guests of CV Circle and also real media. Losing my train of thought. Real Cinema Therapy. There we go. Lori. Sorry, guys, I can't talk. Is also coming. So there's going to be a lot of us, but we're going to be talking about the 3rd season of Yellowjackets. So make sure you come back at 11. And then Sunday, of course, when Last of Us drops. I never remember to put the damn link in the chat, but I'll do it now. Make sure that if you are not a member of our Discord, that you join because we have a watch party for Last of Us at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock. Sorry, 9 o'clock when the episode drops on Sunday. And then Monday at 8, we have our Dead City watch party, followed by our Dead City live stream at 9. And we will be having our Murderbot watch party at 11, followed by the live stream at midnight. And then, of course, Tuesday is our roundup show that we usually do, that we've done for decades here, and then followed by, of course, the 2 shows on Thursday. Next Thursday at 11, rather than Yellowjackets, though, we will be starting the Librarians. So lots of stuff coming up. So make sure you follow us for updates and all those good things, and that you check out our other live streams and our other videos on our YouTube. So yeah, please like and subscribe. But thanks, everybody, and hopefully I will see you guys later tonight. And AJ can.
And I'll see you on Tuesday.
Yes, I will. He will see you on Tuesday. All right. Thanks, everybody, for listening. See you in a bit.
Have a good night, everyone. Good night.
Bye-bye.